The way you smell so sweet. You know you could have been some perfume. Well, you could have been anything that you wanted to, and I can tell.
Okay, Nate, so why do you support Bernie Sanders? Why are you out here waiting in the rain?
Because I feel that he's the voice of the younger generation of people like me and my sisters who are part of a working class people and not part of the 1%, and we need somebody that's going to fight for, what's best for us and not just what's best for the money.
He's been fighting for the people, he's been fighting for this planet, and those are two things I care about and want to see fought for in politics.
Because I think Bernie could really make some change if he was, president.
So what do you think of Bernie Sanders' free education plan?
Free education. Well, I mean, I've already graduated school, but I know that I'm $40,000 in debt, and I'm going to need some sort of assistance if I'm going to pay back in any sort of time. I mean, there's no plan in place for college kids or people that have just graduated college to really consolidate all the debt that we're going to, accrue all over the time that we've spent in school.
So free education in terms of college I think is necessary. You're talking to somebody who's in grad school and I have over $100,000 in debt, crippling loan payments while a full-time student.
I mean, it's a great idea. I don't think it will necessarily get passed through Congress, but I have student loans and they suck, and they're only going to get worse for other generations.
What do you think of Donald Trump, Nate?
Donald Trump is essentially the most underqualified candidate we have going for us right now, and it would basically run our country into the ground. So I'm really hoping Donald Trump doesn't get into office.
I think.
I think he's a idiot, but other than that, he just doesn't. I don't think he knows how the world works, and he has ideas that I don't think would ever work. And I really don't want the rest of the world to hate America, and I think that's where it would end up.
Donald Trump. That's all.
That's all.
Buffalo, thank you so much. I honestly cannot believe how many people are here tonight. And we have a few thousand people outside who couldn't get in. What this campaign is about is thinking outside of the box and raising issues that other politicians refuse to go near. It is we and our families who have to determine what reality is, not CNN or ABC. American democracy is supposed to mean one person, one vote. You gotta vote, you gotta vote, you gotta vote. It does not mean that the Koch brothers and a handful of other billionaires can spend $900 million in this election cycle to elect candidates who represent the wealthy and the powerful. That is not democracy, that is oligarchy, and we are going to turn that around. You want a radical idea? Together, we are going to create an economy that works for all of us, not just the 1%. So here is radical idea number 2, which is really not so radical, and that is together. We're going to invest for our young people in jobs and education, not jails and incarceration. When we began our campaign 11 months ago, we had to make a very important decision. And that decision was, should we establish a super PAC like every other candidate? We agreed with you. And what has happened, what has occurred over the last 11 months is beyond my belief, and something I never in a million years would have thought that I would be telling you. And that is, we have now received over 6 million individual campaign contributions. And that number is greater than any candidate in American history at this point in a campaign. Now, Secretary Clinton has chosen a very different path toward raising her campaign money. She has established several super PACs, and in her recent filing for her largest super PAC, she reported $25 million from special interest, including $15 million from Wall Street. But furthermore, as many of you may know, Secretary Clinton has given a number of speeches on Wall Street to Goldman Sachs and to other financial institutions for $250,000 a speech. It must be a brilliant, earth-shattering speech. It must be a speech written in Shakespearean prose. And if that speech was so great, I think she should release the transcript to all of the people. Now, Secretary Clinton has said that she will release the transcripts if other people do the same. So, are you ready, Buffalo? Buffalo, are you ready for a dramatic announcement? I am prepared to release all of the transcripts of all of the speeches that I gave on Wall Street, and that is pretty easy. There were no speeches. We are listening to workers all across this country who tell us they can't make it on $8 or $9 an hour. I want to raise the national minimum wage to $15 an hour. All of you know that women today are making 79 cents on the dollar compared to men. And if those women are African American or Latino, that gap is even wider. What women are telling me is they want the whole damn dollar, and they're right. The American dream, and that has been my life. My family did not have a lot of money. In fact, we lived in a rent-controlled apartment in Brooklyn, New York. But my dad and my mother worked hard so that we could have, my brother and I could have a better standard of living than they have. And that's called the American dream. Millions of families have done the same. Why in God's name would we be punishing millions of people because they did the right thing and got an education? We should be rewarding young people, not punishing people. When we talk about public education today, it is not good enough to talk about first grade through 12th grade. We have got to make public colleges and universities tuition free. If we could have public colleges and universities tuition free 50 years ago, don't tell me we cannot do it today. And we have got to deal with the crisis of student debt. Anybody here with student debt? Well, welcome to the club. There are millions of people in your boat, and that's why I believe that we should substantially lower student debt by allowing those people with that debt to refinance their loans at the lowest interest rates they can find. With 11 million undocumented people in this country, they are tired of being exploited, tired of living in the shadows. They want, I want, comprehensive immigration reform and a path towards citizenship. I believe that health care is a right of all people, not a privilege. And every one of us is getting ripped off by the drug companies who charge us the highest prices in the world. And when we talk about crises facing this country and facing the world, there is no crisis that I worry about more than climate change. Now, I know that many Americans are worried about the possibility of Donald Trump becoming president of the United States. It ain't gonna happen. Donald Trump will not become president because the American people know that coming together in our proud diversity always trumps dividing us up. The American people know that a great nation is one in which we support each other. That if your family is in trouble, I've got to be there for you, and if my family's in trouble, you've got to be there for us. And the American people know that supporting each other always trumps selfishness. And maybe most profoundly, What the American people know is what every major religion on earth has taught us. And that is, whether it is Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Buddhism, whatever it may be, what the great religions have always taught us is that love trumps hatred.